ERC, quality service since 1972. Repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
You've clicked on the Weather Xtreme video from ABC 3340. I'm Brian Peters, glad to be with you, and hopefully my forecast today will be a lot better than it was yesterday. Let's take a look at the Skycam network, the only way you can see pictures like this across central Alabama from ABC 3340, and there's a look at Coleman and the sun rising there in the east. A similar shot as we look out over Clanton, a little bit of debris in the sky left over from the clouds yesterday, and river looks pretty tranquil at Demopolis. And one more shot, I just love it when I see the fog down in the valleys from Mount Cheaha, and so just had to show that one too. We do have a bit of a frontal boundary. Yesterday, apparently, it was a little further north than I expected, or at least a little discontinuity, maybe not a frontal boundary. And that moved down through, and we saw a good deal of showers and thunderstorms develop in the Tennessee River Valley. I think the main threat is going to be from Birmingham southward, I think primarily south of Birmingham, but, you never can tell about the weather. And, of course, we have an interesting thing going on with that little low in the Gulf and the MCC or MCS that came through here yesterday and went in through Mississippi. That really surprised those folks over there, too. 500 millibars, we do have trough on the East Coast still, but we've got that little upper low that is over the northern Gulf, and conditions are somewhat favorable for development. Still very hot across the country. Now a little closer to home. We're a little cooler this morning, I think, because of all that moisture and rain. Now, not all of us got rain. I didn't get any rain at my house. Upper 60s in the northeast part of the state, generally around 70 for the rest of the area, but you can see much warmer down to the south and southeast Alabama, where they're in the mid-70s, so a pretty good temperature discontinuity. All right, let's go to the tropics quickly. Here's the broad look over the entire area, and we're looking at three different systems. Here's the National Hurricane Center's look, and we'll go back to the picture. We can see that cloud mass in the northern Gulf. We can see the one right in the middle of your picture, and then there's another one to the southwest. It's not very well formed to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. And here are the tracks. This is the computer projections, pretty much what the GFS has been saying over toward Texas. And then the one in the middle Atlantic, it looks like it should recurve, but of course we'll definitely be watching that one. The other one's a little further to the south, and while recurvature seems to be the main prognosis, we'll certainly watch that because it could get into the Caribbean. And on the storm in the Gulf, interesting to note that the water temperature is very warm off of Fort Myers and Key West, but still quite warm across the northern part of the Gulf. QPF-wise, we're looking for a frontal boundary to come our way toward the middle, latter part of the week. That'll produce that rain to our north. And then, of course, the tropical moisture down along the Gulf Coast, with us being kind of in the middle. All right, possibility of severe weather across the southeastern U.S. and along the Gulf Coast, but marginally severe. The main risk being up from about Minnesota and Wisconsin over across much of South Dakota and part of North Dakota. And that area continues to be the focus on day 2. That shifts a little further over into the Great Lakes and part of the Ohio River Valley on day 3. And then days 4 and day 5, we see that shift along the front. All right, here's the 06Z GFS model run. Here's our trough on the East Coast this afternoon, and there's the little disturbance in the upper atmosphere, and that translates underneath that to a possibility of showers. Again, I think we'll mostly be dry today. The 594 contour kind of noses in on Monday. That's going to help to raise our heat, and then it kind of also keeps being bullish and moving our way on Tuesday. Again, I think Monday and Tuesday could be two of our warmest days. It begins to retreat on Wednesday as we see a trough developing from central Canada down into the north-central United States, and that is going to be producing a front along the Ohio River Valley and back up into Nebraska. That trough continues to intensify over the East Coast, and as it does, that brings the front down into the Tennessee River Valley on Thursday. So I think right now Thursday is probably our best chances. Now, we're seeing some additional short waves up there in Canada. Those will help to intensify that trough. That puts the front across the Gulf Coast area, but where that actually ends up is going to determine how wet or dry we'll be on Friday. Right now, the GFS is saying south of here, so we could be dry. The trough continues to develop with some very nice-looking short waves there, one entering the north-central United States. And again, it depends on where that boundary ends up as to what happens for us on Saturday. And then Sunday, this a nice-looking shortwave coming through the flow there and producing some pretty good threat possibly of severe weather and the possibility of showers and thunderstorms in the central United States. And then we see by Monday, a week from tomorrow, the 11th of August, that short wave is moving around the base of the trough and could be impacting us the following week. Now, here's the Voodoo Land. The trough continues over the eastern half of the country, and that could help to keep us in a pretty favorable pattern for showers and thunderstorms. And it does look like we do see a kind of a general shrinking of the westerlies to the north, but look at that trough coming in on the west coast. Haven't seen one like that for a little while. Well, appreciate you tuning in. Tomorrow's Weather Extreme video is going to be a little bit later. I'm filling in for Jason tomorrow morning, so it'll be a little bit later tomorrow and Tuesday morning, because I have to be on television until 7 o'clock in the morning, and then we've got cut-ins, so I'll try to get it done and posted around 9 or 9:30. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great Sunday, and God bless.
Weather.